In a small California town called Willow Springs, Jack Turner, a 36-year-old mechanic, lived a quiet, struggling life. Once a talented engineer with dreams of owning his own auto shop, he now worked long hours in a dusty garage on the edge of town. His clothes were stained with grease, his hands calloused from years of labor, but his heart remained gentle. He lived alone in a small rented room above the workshop, counting every dollar and every broken dream. Yet despite the hardship, Jack still smiled at strangers and helped anyone who walked through his door needing repair or kindness. One cold, windy evening, while closing his garage, Jack noticed a small figure sitting on the curb outside. It was a little girl, around 7 years old, with long brown hair and a pink jacket torn at the sleeve. She held a worn-out stuffed bunny, its ear half missing, and her big brown eyes shimmered with fear. Jack walked closer and asked softly, "Hey there, are you okay?" The girl sniffled and replied, "My mom's car broke down. She went to find help but didn't come back." Her voice trembled, and Jack's heart immediately sank. Jack invited her inside the garage, offering a seat near the small heater that barely worked. He poured some cocoa from his old thermos and handed it to her with a smile. "Don't worry," he said gently. "Your mom will be back soon." The little girl nodded, her tiny fingers warming around the cup. Minutes passed, turning into nearly half an hour, and Jack began to worry. He stood outside under the flickering streetlight, scanning the road, when suddenly bright headlights approached. Cutting through the misty evening air, a sleek black SUV pulled up sharply, and from it stepped a tall, elegant woman, her face pale with fear and exhaustion. "Lila!" she cried, rushing toward the girl. The child jumped into her arms, tears of relief streaming down her face. Jack stood quietly, realizing he'd seen the woman before, Samantha Hayes, the famous billionaire CEO known for her iron will and perfect composure. But now she was just a mother, trembling and thankful. She looked at Jack, eyes soft with gratitude. "You stayed with her?" she asked. Jack nodded simply. Didn't seem right to leave her alone. Samantha noticed his worn boots, the oil on his sleeves, yet his calm kindness struck her deeply. When Jack offered to fix her broken car nearby, she hesitated but agreed. He repaired the vehicle with quick, steady hands, refusing any payment. "Just doing my job," he said with a faint smile. Samantha thanked him sincerely before driving away, holding her daughter close. That night, as Jack closed the garage and watched the taillights fade, he felt something change inside him. He had no idea that this small act of compassion would soon rebuild not only a broken car, but an entire life, including his own. A few weeks later, Jack received an envelope with a silver seal. He almost tossed it aside, thinking it was another unpaid bill, until he noticed the letterhead, Hayes Technologies. Confused, he opened it to find a formal invitation for an interview. Jack frowned, unsure what a billionaire tech firm wanted with a broke mechanic like him. Still, curiosity tugged at him, and he decided to go. On the morning of the interview, he wore his cleanest shirt, though the collar was frayed, and took the bus into the heart of the city, feeling completely out of place among the glass towers and expensive suits. When Jack entered the main office, he expected some HR assistant, not Samantha Hayes herself, waiting in the boardroom. She smiled when she saw him. "Mr. Turner, thank you for coming. I don't usually meet people personally, but my daughter hasn't stopped talking about you." Jack shifted uncomfortably. "I just did what anyone would have done," he murmured. Samantha shook her head gently. "Not everyone would have. You cared. That means something." Then she surprised him. She wanted to hire him as a technical consultant for her company's new electric vehicle project. "You have hands-on experience my engineers lack. I want to give you a chance," she said sincerely. Jack hesitated, feeling out of his depth, but something in Samantha's tone convinced him to accept. Weeks turned into months, and Jack worked tirelessly in the workshop she had built for him, a mix of high-tech tools and the comforting scent of motor oil. He began designing an affordable electric conversion kit that could turn old cars into clean energy vehicles. The project became his mission. Every day, Lila visited with her homework, her laughter filling the quiet space. "Mr. Fix-It, she'd call him, handing him wrenches that were too big for her tiny hands. For the first time in years, Jack felt purpose again. When the day of the company showcase arrived, the prototype worked perfectly. Samantha stood beside him in front of hundreds of journalists and investors. Her voice trembled as she said, "This project was born from kindness, from a man who expected nothing in return." Jack felt his throat tighten as the audience applauded. But what touched him most was seeing little Lila clapping proudly, her face glowing with joy. His invention was a success, but more than that, he had found belonging and respect. Months later, Samantha made Jack a partner in the company. His small garage turned into a community workshop where struggling mechanics found jobs and training. One evening, as the sun sank behind the city skyline, Samantha visited quietly, watching Lila laugh nearby. "You didn't just fix a car that night," she said softly. "You fixed something broken in me too." Jack smiled, wiping grease from his hands. "Guess we both needed repair." She laughed through her tears, and for the first time both knew they had rebuilt more than a machine. They had rebuilt life itself.